So if you got one of these Caravans with the 6-speed, the 62 TE transmission in it, you might realize if you go to try to check your transmission fluid, trying to get the light here, you'll see here's a dipstick tube. Well, you think it's dipstick tube for the transmission, and you'll pull this out, and what you pull out is just a plug. And you'll see on the front here it says for dealer use only. So they have a way for you to put fluid in through the tube here, but they don't have a way for you to check the fluid. So they just want you to take it to the dealer, let them check it. There is a way around this. There's quite a few videos on YouTube about it, but since I'm working on this thing and kind of going through some of this, I'll make my own here. And the solution to it, you can buy the dipstick tube that they sell. It's not super expensive. I think it's like 15-20 bucks on Amazon, and it's got a chart, shows you what the fluid level should be, and it's marked. I'll kind of show you that. Or you can take the oil dipstick tube out of the engine and mark that on the opposite side and put it down in there, and that's how you would check it, and then you don't have to worry about getting carrying around another dipstick tube or anything like that. So I'll kind of show you on this other transmission what happens with the dipstick tube. So this is the oil dipstick tube out of the engine. I don't know if you can see it real well, if it's going to focus. But you can see on this side it has your oil level, your normal dipstick tube where it'll have the hatch marks for low and safe, etc. On the other side of this tube, it's blank, or this stick, it's blank. So anyway, what you would do is mark this tube to put the proper marks on this stick, and then you can put it in your tube and check the fluid level without taking it to the dealer, of course. So you slide it in. It actually goes. What happens is when you put the dipstick tube in, it bottoms out. It bottoms out on this. I don't know if you can see right there. So you're not actually putting this tube all the way down to the end of the pan. It has this little catch right here, and that's what the tube, or what the stick, keep saying tube, what the stick keeps what it bottoms out on. So anyway, I'll go to the workbench and I'll show you how to mark this, and put the proper marks on it and what the manufacturer wants you to do with it. Here's what the dealer uses. This is like a dealer dipstick type tube or stick. Really super long. It's got a handle, and you can see on it. I don't know if you can see on it actually. It's got marks, 20 millimeter. Every mark is 10 millimeters on it. It goes all the way up to looks like 120 millimeters. So then you ask yourself, well, how would you mark the factory one? And here's a chart. If you buy one of these universal dipstick tubes, like the dealer for the Chryslers, Jeeps, whatever, you find your transmission on the chart, and you can see here the 62 TE. And what I'm going to do, this is what they want you to do, is put a scan tool to the computer and find out what the transmission fluid, what temperature it's at, and then you would look on this chart. So say you put it in and it said your scan tool said it was at 120 degrees. Then you would go to this chart, look in the middle, and it should be around between 20 and 25 millimeters on the stick. That's where the level should be. But what we're going to do on this factory oil dipstick tube is, you look here, it says cold target 13 millimeter, hot target 48 millimeter. So what I'm going to do is mark it at 10 millimeter and around 45 millimeter, and that'll give us an idea of where it should be. I mean, it's not going to be precise, but you'll be close enough to know if the transmission is low or overfilled or whatever. So when it's cold, you might go out, check it, and it should be in this. According to them, you want your target at 13 mil. So I'm going to just mark it at 10 mil, kind of go in the middle here, and then when it's fully operational, which they say is around 180. They want it at about 48 millimeters, and we're going to mark it, I'm going to say about 45 or so, and that will be the full level when it's hot. So you just take your factory oil dipstick tube, flip it over to the blank part, and make a couple marks on it. And what I'm going to do is use one of these here. Let's see. So we want to set it at 13 mil. So I'm going to go get a little marker or something, and we'll mark this off. And then we'll use a cutoff wheel and just put a little notch on where we want it. All right, so I got this set at 10. It's actually 10.05, but 10 is close enough. And what we're going to do is just kind of set it on there. And you can see it's basically right here where it starts to go straight. But I'm going to mark it anyway, so we'll put a little mark on it. And then the next one we'll go to 45. So we'll measure down 45. All right, so that's almost 45 there. So you go from the bottom of it to here. So in theory, if you come out, transmission's cold, your fluid level should be about right here. And after you go drive it, it's warmed up. You're not towing anything, it's not super hot, but just normal operating temperature. Your fluid level should be about right here on the second mark. So this isn't, obviously, using this is not going to be permanent. So what I'm going to do is take a cutoff wheel, and we'll just cut two little notches in there. And then you have, then you'll have this in your oil, and you'll have this available to you to check your transmission fluid without taking it to the dealer. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple little notches in it and kind of show you that, and then we'll be done with the video. All right, so I'm going to use a cutoff wheel and mark these marks. If you don't have a cutoff wheel, use a Dremel or whatever you have. You could probably use a file or something like that, or a rat tail. If you use a cutoff tool, obviously you don't want to cut it all the way through. Just get a nice little permanent mark on your two spots that you already marked, and that'll be permanent and it'll stay on there. You won't have to worry about it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and maybe do a little bit better, and then maybe get a little rat tail or file and kind of file it and rough it up a little bit. But that's kind of the idea on this. So that's pretty much how you could take your oil dipstick tube for your Caravan and change it into a transmission dipstick tube. And then you just put this back in your oil dipstick tube. And if you ever need to check your transmission fluid, you can pull this out and you'll have your marks here. Obviously this is the cold mark, and this will be your hot mark when it's running for a while. And you kind of want to be, somewhere in that area. And that's how you would check your transmission fluid without taking it to the dealer. So I know there's other videos online about this, but this is the first time I pulled one of these 62 TEs out of a Caravan. So I wanted to make the video since I'm doing it. And anyway, that's it. So we'll see you on the next one. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.